Hello and welcome to the Watch News channel. I'm Nick and this is the Ipose 5303. An interesting watch as technically it's a homage, and it's homage in a micro brand that are heavily homaging Omega. Hence my title today, including the reference to the movie Inception from 2010, as there's a lot of layers going on here when it comes to where this watch has actually come from. Bit of an interesting backstory with this one as well, in that the micro brand that this watch is homaging uses a movement that has proven to be very unreliable. And this homage is being offered with movements that are more well regarded, such as Solita and ETA. This one in particular has got a PT 5000 in it, because that was the cheapest option. But you can get it with an ETA if you want, a 2824, which kind of puts it into an interesting place when the watch that it's based on has been having a lot of problems. Anyway, let's get into the video, have a look at the watch, see what you think, and I'll catch up with you at the end. Cheers. So let's start with the specifications. So we've got a PT 5000 movement in this particular one that I've got. We've got 316L stainless steel, a double dome sapphire crystal with clear AR coating, anti-reflective coating, a ceramic bezel with a sapphire Lume pip cover. We've got C3 Lume, that's for the indexes, the hands, and the Lume pip. Got a solid screw down case back, 200 meters water resistance, a case size of 39 millimeters, lug to lug of 48 millimeters, and a thickness, according to the UTC watches store on AliExpress that I purchased this Ipose 5303 from, is 12.2 millimeters. Lug width 20 mil. So here's the watch on my 6.75 inch wrist, just below average, as I seem to find out from other YouTube reviewers who keep saying their wrists are average and they're slightly bigger. So yeah, it's not like it's giving me a complex or anything. But as you can see, it wears beautifully on my wrist, the 39 millimeter size here. But because of the way the lugs are, with the bracelet and the extend down, it would easily look great on a larger wrist. I'm going to go into what I like about this watch straight away. It's got a color match date wheel, which is great. The overall quality is superb. Vertical finishing on the top of the lugs and horizontal brushing on the side of the case. It's got Aquaterra lugs, which I really like. I've always loved Aquaterra lugs. I used to have an Aquaterra, but I had to sell it when basically made some bad financial decisions. The Lume on the dial is excellent. It's really solid Lume. The Lume pip's not as strong, but it's still good. Okay, so this leads us on to what I consider to be one of the stars of the show when it comes to this watch, which is the mesh strap that it comes with. It is extremely well made. I had a Rado Captain Cook that came with a mesh strap, and I thought that was the best mesh I'd ever experienced. But this one is just as good. The tightness of the mesh, the finishing at the end and on the sides, it's a really well made strap. As you can see here, the end links fit really well into the case. So usually with AliExpress watches, you find that they skimp out on the straps because that's where they can, increase their margins a little bit, put a cheap strap on there, and, they sort of make that little bit more money. But this strap is superb. It's excellent. So it does make me wonder if this strap was made for this case, if what we were talking about with the case manufacturer actually being the manufacturer for the watch brand in question, this sort of, it sells me on it, to be honest. I waxed lyrical earlier about how much I like the bracelet that comes with the watch. So I've taken it off the watch here, so I thought you could have a look at how well finished these links are. The end link here that attaches to the watch. It's got good thick spring bars, and again, when I was talking about earlier about AliExpress watches tending to cheap out, they tend to have the really skinny, horrible spring bars that would break on you, whereas it's got some nice spring bars with this one. It measures 14.1, 14, yeah, 14. So it's 14 mil in between that end link. So if you were to use this end link with a different bracelet, you might be able to if it's got a 14 mil attachment. But you can see how well that's finished. How well it's milled. It's done really well. So we run through the specifications as according to the watch store on AliExpress. So let's do, let me just get the calipers out and let's do our own measurements. So we've got a case size of 38.8, so yeah, 39 mil. It measures slightly differently depending on where you put the calipers, but yeah, we're looking at 39 mil. The store was advising. We've got a crown size of 6.2 millimeters, which is a good size crown. We've got the bracelet measures at 18.8, going down to 14.8. And the lug width is 20 mil. So I'm just going to do a little test of the sapphire now. So these are two watches I know have got sapphire crystal. And we just try the Ipose. And we get a reading for sapphire, but it's not as strong as on the other watches I've got there. Same for the Lume pip cover. You get a reading, but it's not as strong. So the watches I've got here, I've got a Boltney. This is Boltney case and crystal, strong reading. And the other watch was a San Martin. And this one, it reads for sapphire, but not as strong. So it makes me wonder about this crystal, whether it actually is a true double dome sapphire crystal or whether it's mineral with a sapphire coating. Yeah, that's something to consider there. But they do say it's sapphire on the website. We'll give the bezel a turn now. It's a decent bezel. It's firm. There's not much back play. Unfortunately, and this seems to happen to a lot, the bezel is slightly misaligned. It's one click off. As you can see, the Lume pip at the top there is just one click over from the 12 o'clock marker. What I found as well is that if I line up the Lume pip to the 12 o'clock marker exactly, the bezel is still off at the 6 o'clock, which is strange because the rest of the markers seem to be aligned. Now, I don't know if that's a trick of the crystal or if that's just me. So I just want to show you here the raised Lume markers, the indices. As you can see, each index is raised quite a bit by, I'd say, about 0.5 mil at least. And that gives a good amount of a Lume application, and it lasts a good amount of time, which I'll show you a bit later on. So I've changed the light in the room now just to give you an idea of how this blue bezel looks, ceramic bezel looks in the different light, with these matte blue hands as well. The winding of the PT5000 is okay. The setting is really smooth. It's nice, very smooth. setting the date, very clear, and moves over with each click, and the movement of the hands is fine, no issue there. But the winding I found of the actual movement is just a little bit gritty. Nothing compared to an NH35 though, so it's not bad. It's just a little bit gritty. It would have been nice if it was a bit smoother. But I did go for the PT5000 rather than SW200 or the ETA, so that was my problem there. Nice screw down crown as well though, good positive action to the screw down, and screws in nice and tight. So the dial. On this watch is a silvered dial, and it is very nice. The only other silver dial I've had like this is on an Omega. The Omega, of course, was leagues ahead in how it was actually applied, but here it is a really nice silver dial that really catches the light and helps with the legibility against those matte hands. Okay, so next up now we're going to look at the finishing of the watch. As you see here, we've got some really nice clean lines with the finishing on the side of the case. We've got a horizontal brush finish to the side of the case, and then vertical brushing on the top with Leo style lugs. A nicely polished crown. It's very well finished. It's so well finished. It really is matching up to that sort of entry level Swiss quality, which is what I haven't seen from an AliExpress watch before. Watch has a nicely engraved case back, and the matte hands, they're really well done, really nice. So I'll just go over the few bits that I'm not too happy about, or, well, things to know. The crystal is advertised as sapphire, is reading as sapphire, but as you saw, I don't know, we're not reading as strong as other crystals I've had, so that sort of makes me wonder. The bezel on mine is misaligned. It's one click off, which is annoying, and because it seems every watch I buy, the bezel is misaligned by one click. And the winding on the PT5000 is a little bit gritty, but otherwise it's fine. The bracelet can be a little bit fiddly to put on, but once you sort of get used to it, that's fine as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it in regards to things that I'm not happy with. Otherwise, this watch is superb. Okay, so it's Lume time now. So I recorded the Lume on this watch over about a 20-minute period with another watch where the dial is printed and the Lume is really good, which came from San Martin. As you can see, over the 20 minutes, it lasts well, it's still strong, still visible, and it will last all night. So there you have it. That is the Ipose 5303. So I bought my particular one from the UTC watches store on AliExpress, and I paid £220 for my one, which is £220 in dollars these days. It's about $272. Now I messaged the watch store, UTC watches store, to ask them a bit of information about the company that has made this watch. They come back and said that Ipose is a Chinese watch association, and IX&DAO, which is on the case back of the watch, is the brand name of the brand manufacturer responsible for the production. And the production is Hermit. So I'm guessing that's the overall the factory that's put these watches out. Now I don't know if the watch brand that this watch is homaging have used Hermit for their manufacturing for their cases. If they have, I wouldn't be surprised. As mentioned in the video, this watch is Swiss level quality. The finishing, just everything about it is just really well made. It makes you think. So it's a great watch. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. If you don't mind having a watch that is heavily homaging another watch, then it's hands down its value for money is off the scale. If that's not your thing, then don't go for it. But you're looking at a £1,200 watch compared to 220 with the PT5000 in it, or just under 400 if you're putting an ETA. Still a lot of saving considering the how similar they are. And what do you think about the whole homage issue? It's such a divisive subject across. Well, if you put a homage onto any Facebook group, you get very mixed replies and comments on what you post. But within this watch, I see Omega's Seamaster Coaxial. I see vintage Seamaster, the handset. There's Aquaterra lugs. There's a Speedmaster Lume pips. There's more Omega in this watch than there is the parent brand that made this particular model, in my opinion. Does that make it up for grabs for other brands to use, other Chinese factories to use? I can't say. It's not for me to say. All I can say is that it's a good deal. So thank you for joining me for this video. I really appreciate it. Everyone that's subscribed, and if you'd like to see more from me, please like and subscribe. And also, as you've made it to the end of the video, you get a little sign, you get a little fashion show. Start the fashion show.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Let's start it.